Attention listeners, Aftersight's annual hike is coming up on July 27th.
It was a really good experience for me.
Visit aftersight.org/hike and become an audio trekker today.
That hike today gave me so much courage.
You didn't think you could do it, did you?
It's a good start. A little bit left.
You didn't think you could reach the summit.
You gotta keep moving. Let's keep moving. Let's go.
You didn't think you could be an Olympian.
Drive. Come on now. There you go. Use your arms.
You never thought you could experience the great outdoors. You didn't think you could experience sports ever again.
Keep going.
Today is a new day.
Don't quit on me. Keep going.
Your world is now and forever changed because you did it. You are doing it, and you will do the things you love again.
You're very bad. You're very bad.
If you want to play it, run it, hunt it, swim it, hike it, you've come to the right place. Welcome to Game Changers. It's time to change the game. That's right, we're changing the game. My name is Jonathan Price, and usually I'm joined by my co-host, Ethan Johnston, but as it would have it, he's got tournaments and all this other stuff. This dude is so busy, and I love having him on the show. And so, Ethan, if you're listening to this, man, I hope you have a fantastic time, and I hope that you're just killing it with that beat baseball. Before we dive into our guest this week, if you are listening to this on Friday, July 26th, 2024, then you have about 24 hours to register for the hike. It's tomorrow in Myers Gulch, but we would love to have you. Bring your guide dog, bring your friends, bring your family, and this is a fantastic time to hike the Colorado mountains with about 100 or so of your closest friends. So it'll be fantastic. It'll be fun. It's going to be a pretty easy hike. It's a nice wide trail, and it'll just be great. We'll provide the food and drinks for both breakfast and lunch. So there you go. It'll be fantastic. But I'm not going to belabor this any longer. I'm so excited to have on Paula Kissinger, and she's going to talk with us about quite a few interesting things that she does. But Paula, welcome to Game Changers. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
You bet. My pleasure. And thank you for taking some time out to join us, or me, I guess. But go through a little bit about your blindness journey and kind of what you're up to now.
Yeah. So I was born basically blind. I am a really weird case where I actually kind of regained a lot of vision. It's not so much that anything physically changed, just neuroplasticity is a beautiful thing. And when you're a little kid, your brain can learn how to best use the little bit of vision that I had. So that's a really rare thing and definitely lucky in that sense. But in terms of what I do with that vision that I kind of have and kind of, I'm a big runner. I was a swimmer all through high school competitively. I grew up horseback riding, competed in Judo. I mean, all kinds of stuff. I'm very active, and I always have been. Okay,
so I watched this movie, and when we did the pre-show interview, I had to go back and watch the movie, and I forgot the name of it, but it's where she is not blind, but she rides this horse, and it jumps up off this platform into a pool of water, and she hits the water face first with her eyes open, and I think it like detaches her retinas, but then she learns how to do these horse tricks as a blind girl, and she's learning how to mount the horse from a run, and so the horse was running by her, and so it was just an amazing thing. So can you explain to I know, just even trying to do that as somebody who is sighted would be really entertaining to watch, but it was an impressive movie. So if I can remember the movie, I'm going to send it to you. So if listeners out there know what it is, email us. But what kind of horseback did you do?
Okay, so I grew up on an Arabian breeding ranch. My grandparents bred Arabs. So for anyone who doesn't know, Arabians are pretty what we call hot-blooded, meaning they're pretty spirited. They like to run. So I grew up riding those kinds of horses. So by the time I was, a couple years old, I was already a fairly okay rider because you have to be to stay on.
That's right.
And then when I was in middle school, I started taking lessons in dressage, which is like the horse ballet. If you watch the Olympics, it's where the horses basically prance around and look really pretty. That's
they go diagonal, but they look like they're facing forward and they're backing up with their heads down and bowing. Oh yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, that. So I did that for many years. I competed all through high school. And then in high school and college, I did a little bit with hunter jumper as well. And then I was also a trail guide in Colorado on a dude ranch that was also a working cattle ranch. So taking...
Okay, wait a minute. You're a blind trail guide?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, hold on. We have to pause there. Tell me the story.
Okay. So basically, it's really funny because everyone that I ever took out on trails had no idea that I'm blind. If you looked at me... No,
wait. Did you take them out or did you take them out on a trail?
Oh, no, I was like out on the trail. Yeah.
I'm with you.
Oh, yeah. No, they had no idea. Pretty much I owe my entire experience there to memorization because I just knew the trails really well and I knew these horses really well. Mm-hmm. And so it was really fun. We had 60 head of horses and 80 head of cattle and about 400 acres. It was incredible. Yeah. And I did that for a summer and my coworkers all knew, but none of the guests knew. So it was very funny.
That's incredible. What a cool story. How long did you do that?
Just a summer.
Okay. That's pretty cool.
It's a great summer job. Work on a dude ranch.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So, okay, so you did the horseback thing. You did running and swimming? Yeah.
I competed in swimming. I've run some races, but never for good times. I just do that for fun.
What other sports did you play, either competitively or semi-competitively, outside of those?
Oh gosh. Let's see. I cycle with my dad. We have a tandem. So my dad is an Ironman. He's a very good cyclist. So we go out on tandem rides together. So there's that. I've obviously competed at a pretty high level in judo. I've competed running, but like I said, that's just for fun. I think that's it. I also ski a lot, but I don't compete skiing.
Okay. Yeah. Very cool. So tell me about what you're doing now. You're with Ignite. Is that right? Are you still with Ignite?
Yeah. So that's the adaptive ski program that I actually was a student at first in Colorado and then transitioned into an instructor role. And now I'm actually a trainer, clinic leader. So I basically teach other people how to guide visually impaired athletes to ski.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. So it's an incredible program. It's based out of Eldora in Colorado. I cannot say enough good things about the people who run it. But I'm also biased because my father is now the chairman of the board.
Sure. There you go. That's really neat. How long have you been with Ignite?
I started being a student at the age of 7. The then president came out onto the snow and my mother and I were in our bright orange blind skier vests. And he waves us over and we were both terrified because we thought we were going to get our passes pulled. Like, oh no, we were supposed to register to be blind skiers on this mountain.
Uh-oh.
And he comes over and says, is she actually blind? We're standing there nodding, think, oh God, we're done for. And he says, what are you guys doing on Fridays? Because that's when Ignite has a group from the Colorado Center for the Blind come up every single week to learn how to ski with them. And they wanted my mom to guide with them and for me to be a student since I was already a pretty good skier to kind of be a role model, I guess. So that's how we got involved at my age of 7. And then ever since.
Oh my gosh. That's pretty cool.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So and now my father is not only a very good instructor, but he's also the president of the organization. My mom is one of the senior guides because obviously she had a whole lot of practice guiding me, and my sister is a better guide than both of them.
Oh my gosh. That's pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
Why is she a better guide?
Frankly, because she's faster.
Well, there you go. I mean, that's a pretty straightforward, simple answer.
I'm a very controlled skier, but I do like to go fast.
I was going to say, yeah. Are you into like the trees and all that kind of stuff? Or is it just like, what is your level of skiing, or what kind of runs do you like to do?
Okay. So I say this to new guides all the time. I can ski anything. I prefer not to ski certain things, one of which is tight trees. I don't love a ton of mogul runs. I can do them, but it's not the prettiest thing. But I really like steeps. So like anything steep is kind of my thing. If it's groomed, great. If it's a little rough, fine. If it's really moguled, not really my thing.
Okay. The last time I think I went skiing was probably 15 years ago, or actually it was snowboarding. And
I'm going to try not to judge you for that.
Well, you're going to judge me even harder when I tell you this story.
Oh boy.
So the last time I went snowboarding, it was a blast. It was a ton of fun. I was usually the guy who was, hey, watch me try this.
Oh boy.
Yeah. And that was the last, and I went up this, I had been doing jumps all day long. It was great. I thought I'd try a new trick. And I landed so hard on my back that, you know, the little Tweety birds that kind of circle around cartoons' heads?
Yes.
That's kind of where I was feeling at that moment. I just stayed on the landing, and I limped over to the side as to not get hit by anybody else coming down the hill. And I was like, I think I'm going to be done with this for today. And then coincidentally enough, never went back up the mountain. And I miss it so much.
You know what? But I've done that. We've all been there. It doesn't feel good.
No, it doesn't. Especially when it's a little bit icy. It's just been iced over. Man, that's just not fun.
Yeah, I'm on the East Coast now, and I refuse to ski anywhere on this side of the country because it's just ice skating on skis. No.
Gross. No thanks. I'm sorry. That doesn't even sound fun to me. That's just,
no.
So tell me why and how sports have played a major role in your life.
Oh, yeah. So I really was introduced to sports at the age of 7. 7 was clearly a big year for me. I was sent off to my first sleepaway camp for 2 weeks. And at this camp, this was a camp specifically for visually impaired kids. So this is the first time I'd been surrounded by other kids like me, first of all, and the first time that I'd really been allowed to play sports in a group setting. You know, I'd always run around and, you know, kick a kickball around, but this is the first time I really experienced sports as a normal child might. And it really kind of put into effect this snowball that I started going to these camps every summer, and more I would do these different activities and sports during the school year, during, you know, other times. And I formed all these incredible connections to other young, athletic, visually impaired kids. And it had a huge impact on me. Not only did I find these amazing activities that I love doing, but I found a community that supported me. And I think that that cannot be overstated because you just are not quite understood by anyone else the same way that you are by another blind kid who understands the struggle of participating in sports meant for fully sighted people, or who understands the ridicule that you get when you try to participate in sports with fully sighted kids. So that made a huge impact on me. And that's where I discovered Judo, which I later went on to compete at a very high level in and really loved, and that was like my family all through middle and high school.
So what was it necessarily about judo that set itself apart from all the other sports?
I think, frankly, it's because it was so easy to adapt it to my needs as someone with visual impairments. Judo is one of it virtually takes no change to compete as a visually impaired person versus a fully sighted person. In fact, even at the Paralympic level, the only change, the only one, is that you start touching the person rather than on opposite sides of the mat. That's it. Yeah. That's the only change. And that is such an easy accommodation to make. So I actually competed the entire time I was competing with fully sighted competitors. I could have competed para. I chose not to, but that's the only change. And I think that's what stood out to me about it, because I could be, just another person on the team at that point. And that was really freeing. Plus, I was good at it, and I'm competitive, and I like to be good at things. So,
yes,
that doesn't hurt.
No. So for those of you who don't know, can you explain to our audience what the difference is between judo and, say, like kickboxing or Brazilian jiu-jitsu or just karate in general?
Absolutely. So judo is a Japanese martial art. It actually translates to the gentle way. And what that basically means is there's no punching or kicking in judo. It is all throws, chokes, arm bars, and pins. That's how you win. There are 4 ways. And why it's called the gentle way is the entire point of judo is basically if someone is moving a certain way, you basically just help them move faster that way. So if they're coming forward towards you, you pull them towards you and then to the ground. That's kind of the general idea. So it's very tactile. And again, that's why it's so easy to compete in it as a visually impaired person, because you can feel where a person is moving, sometimes better than you can see it.
So that's really interesting about the differences between, judo and some of those other sports. When we're looking at the accessibility in sports, because you had mentioned that the only change for that particular sport was just that you're starting off in graps with each other or touching each other. Mm-hmm. What are some of the other sports or accommodations that you have seen that have really helped you pursue other sports and activities?
Yeah, so there are so many. In cycling, for example, tandem cycling is so much fun. If you can get your hands on a tandem, even fully sighted people I know love tandem riding. It makes it much more social. I tandem cycle with my dad. We love it. Running, you can run with a tether or just with a guide giving you voice cues. That's how I personally prefer to run. In swimming, a lot of people use something called a touch stick. I don't personally use these because I can see enough to see the T at the end of the lane. But if you can't, you basically just have somebody at the end of the lane with a long noodle or a stick of some kind that can just tap you gently on the back while you're swimming laps to tell you that you're at the end and you need to flip turn. A lot of people also suspend just like a tennis ball on a string from the dive blocks so that it touches the top of their head and they can feel that. And all of these are really easy and pretty small accommodations to make. Like I said, when I ski, I always have a guide. I typically usually have 2 guides, actually. I have a lead guide who I'm following, and then a tail guide, which is basically just a safety measure in case, like I said, I ski fairly quickly and on pretty hard terrain. So let's say I fall. It happens at every level. Don't let anyone tell you it doesn't. And my guide gets too far in front of me. I can't see them anymore. The tail guide will pick me up and take me to a point where I can see my lead guide again and then fall back. Gotcha. And it's also a question of like traffic control, because my lead guide is focused solely on where are we going, what's the best line, making sure that I'm good. So the tail guide is focused on keeping both of us safe from uphill traffic, if there's some kind of, whatever disaster, they're there just in case.
Yep. So I know we have Penn, who you'll be on with her, and then that episode will be out, I think, next month or so. But she uses Bluetooth headsets to communicate with her guide, and I know there's verbal cues and different things. What is the communication that you prefer when you're on the slopes?
Yeah, so I have used the verbal headsets in your helmet, and I do like them, but personally, I don't necessarily need them. So when I ski, I just follow my lead guide. I'm, again, a good controlled skier, so I typically am within 2 to 5 feet of the ends of my guide. Oh, yeah. New guides are terrified when I first ski with them because they think I'm going to hit them.
2 to 5 feet?
Yeah.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
From the tips of my skis to the tails of theirs, it's close. And they trust that if they stop, I'm going to stop.
That's bonkers.
Yeah. The fast muscle twitch is definitely a necessity for that.
So how far back is the other guide?
It depends on the terrain. If it's like a big wide slope, they're back pretty far doing like big traverses across.
Okay.
If it's pretty tight, then they're going to be a lot closer.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm lucky. Great. I have a whole group of they're incredible guides who know me very well and
I love that.
And keep me nice and safe.
That's so crazy. Talk about an amazing blessing and the ability for you to trust yourself enough to push yourself to that limit. That's just really encouraging. And speaking of encouraging, as we kind of wind up the show, what would your, charge be to people to get up and just get out there and go do something?
I would say that there is a whole world of possibilities. If you hate running, don't run. If you hate biking, don't bike. But I guarantee you there's something out there for everyone. And when you find it and love it, there is nothing that compares to that level of passion that you will find because everyone's got it for something.
Right. So as we are game changers, we're constantly looking to obviously change the game, and we're looking to bring more. I don't even know what the word is. We're looking to bring more vision and sight to the blind sports community. I guess that's the easiest and most poignant way to put it, which is kind of an oxymoron if you think about it. Mm-hmm. But in any case, sports can be so freeing. And so what are you doing now? And what do you want to do in the future that will change the game of blind sports?
Oh, that's a great question. I think you're right that there needs to be a lot more sight, as you put it. I would put like awareness education on blind sports. Mm-hmm. I was telling somebody the other day about goalball, and they were flabbergasted that they'd never heard of this and want to participate now. And This is a fully sighted person. So I think being really public about my disability, I'm extremely open to anyone to ask me questions. I love when little kids come up to me when I'm, out with my guides skiing or running or doing whatever. I love it when they come up and ask questions, even though it embarrasses their parents to no end. I want everyone to know.
Yes.
And I think we just need more of that. And we need more people who are willing to ask questions and be curious because it's such a beautiful thing. And we forget in the blind community that most people just don't have exposure to anyone with vision loss. They just don't know. And when they do know, most of them find it really cool and actually want to know more. So, I think just fostering curiosity is a beautiful thing.
Fostering curiosity. There it is. We're going to end on that. I love that phrase, fostering curiosity. And that's so relevant to what we're trying to do both here on Game Changers and on Aftersight with all of our other shows. If you guys like this show, please make sure that you subscribe so that you're not missing an episode. Like it, give us a comment, as it helps us climb the charts and make sure that this is one of the podcasts that are on everybody's feed. We have quite a few shows that are within the top 25% of all of the podcasts in the United States. So it's because of listeners like you and guests like you, Paula, that really make this whole thing go. And we shrink this community by being in communication with one another and bringing stories and of like, oh my goodness, I didn't know you knew that person. And oh yeah, I heard your name on this site and all that kind of stuff. It's really, really cool. And so I personally am so thankful for this entire community and for you, Paula, and for what you've brought to the sports and blindness community. It's such a blessing. And so I hope that you go on and do even bigger and even bigger things, and you just enjoy this life. It's been awesome having you on the show.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, with that being said, on behalf of the entire Aftersight team and for Ethan Johnston, love you, man. Hope that you get back soon. My name is Jonathan Price. Don't forget to change the game.